on a patient, find the patient that is an OBS patient, and then click on their row. This will bring up an empty chart. You then need to select the proper template to use. Note that there are both ER templates as well as observation templates. We've seen several people accidentally pick the ER chart template, which has a lot more detail, is a lot more complicated, versus the observation templates. To do this, you can select the selections drop down here, and you can see these are all labeled charts. These are ER charts. If you continue to scroll down, you'll see OBS, and these are the OBS charts. Another way to do it is to add in the word OBS under the section filter, and then do the selection, and then you will only get your OBS charting. So from here, you can click the correct condition. So say, for example, chest pain, and then you hit the plus sign, and that will add the OBS documentation to the chart, and you can begin documenting from here. There are three couple things to look at. Number one is making sure the inclusion criteria and exclusion criteria are appropriately documented. And it'll state on here typically at least one must be present, so you need to determine which of the conditions will trigger observation for this patient. Exclusion criteria, for example here, all must be answered no to place the patient in observation. And then coming down, you have to do an independent history and an independent exam from the ER chart. Sorry about that, that's just the way that it's required. So a brief history here and a brief physical exam here. We have a standard exam already in place that you can then just modify as needed. If you're using a device such as an iPad or iPhone, you can use the voice recognition on that and basically dictate into these areas. There's also an observation plan. Again, this is typical based off of the order set for the observation. And then the key thing here is observation course. This is where you put in brief notes, perhaps one every hour or 2 hours, on the condition of the patient and the reason why they need to stay in observation. You timestamp it by clicking the now, and then hit the plus button to add the text to the row. For example, no current pain, awaiting troponin I, timestamp, hit plus, and that has now been documented. When you're dispositioning the patient, right here there's this disposition decision. Here are the criteria for going home. All must be present. So to select that, you can just click once to say yes. And then here's criteria for hospital transfer. You can leave these blank if all these are active, or you can explicitly click this twice and that'll make it red with a line through it to state no. You then need to decide where is the final disposition of the patient, for example, discharge or transfer for admission. And then the time that you decided the patient no longer meets OBS criteria. That may not be the time they actually left the ER, but at the point where you decide the patient no longer needs OBS, you can select that. You can enter the date and time, or you can click the now if you're documenting at that time.